This is Computer Insider, Canada's award-winning television series with Bob Pritchard. This week, we go inside the world of television production to meet the people who design and build computer animations. Later, we go hands-on with MergeFax, a shareware utility which allows you to mail merge to your fax card. This week on Computer Insider. Computer Insider is brought to you by AST Computer. You'll like the way we work. Sharp Electronics. From sharp minds come sharp products.
Thank you very much for joining us this week on Computer Insider. Well, I thought I'd seen it all right up until I saw this story about a new on-the-road dating service called Laughs, or Love at First Sight, that they're running in Michigan. Basically, the way the system works is you sign up to Laughs, and they send you a little bracket for your license plate. On the bracket is the phone number for Laughs. Now, when a caller dials into the system, they have the option of putting in a mailbox number, and of course, the mailbox numbers match the first four digits of your license plate, so you get to be in touch with the car you just passed. Now, apparently, there's a lot of people using it for services beyond meeting other people. For example, one group of people are using it to sell real estate. So you can dial into the number and put in the digits from the license plate, and instead of hearing about the person, you get to hear about the house that's for sale, or possibly a car that's for sale. Anyway, a rather interesting twist to that marriage of high technology and low technology. Speaking about high-tech stuff, there's a brand new hard disk coming out on the market. It's a 1.09 gigabyte drive, 2.5-inch size, so it'll go into your laptop computer. Apparently, the companies are getting a lot of complaints because those of us who are mobile users are always looking to get more disk storage, and basically the 400, 500, 600 megabyte sizes just aren't making it anymore, so Toshiba has decided to introduce this 1.09 gig size. We'll keep an eye out for more interesting things that are going on around the world in the world of high technology and let you know about them right here on Computer Insider.
Computer Insider's Industry Insights has been brought to you by QMS, Seamless Network Printing.
When we look at using computers to train people to do things, oftentimes we think of flight simulators and pilot training, or possibly train engineers working through a simulator of some sort. But we've seen some new packages coming out into the marketplace which work with doctors to help them train for not so much the practical part of medicine, but to be able to deal with patients and each patient's condition. Today we're going to look at a segment that talks about how they can develop implants in a computer, let the physicians practice putting these implants into service, and then take the doctor to the patient in the operating theater.
Computer technology is by no means a new phenomenon in the medical community. To some degree, physicians have used it for years. More recently, computerized visualization tools have advanced medical imaging even further, but it still isn't enough. Orthopedic surgeons must often use manufactured implant devices to improve the lives of their patients. The device manufacturers must keep their swiftly changing technology moving forward with customized and off-the-shelf products conforming to the complexities of the human body. At the same time, surgeons need accurate information about the relationship between bone and device before making an initial incision. A two-dimensional image of the problem area isn't always enough to gain the necessary insight. Now, for the first time, medical professionals can use computer-aided design tools for three-dimensional visualization. Specifically, the ability to create realistic anatomical models. SurgiCAD's roots go back to 1988, when orthopedic researcher and physician Sean Hayden first met radiologist Daniel Schlesselberg. The two doctors shared a fascination with medical imaging and surgery. They knew computer graphics and multimedia would lead to dramatic advancements in their respective fields.
SurgiCAD is unique in the industry in that it is focusing its applications directly upon the needs of the clinician. We don't have applications which are targeted at accounting or other bookkeeping issues in the clinic. Rather, we're looking at the diagnostic and therapeutic needs of the clinician.
Hayden and Schlesselberg combined their talents to develop highly innovative software for medical visualization and implant modeling. Research and development involves well-respected orthopedic surgeons, radiologists, and prosthetic device manufacturers. SurgiCAD also recognizes that doctors want convenient online links between their clinics and medical imaging departments, operating rooms, and ICUs.
Currently, films are in one department, implant information is available from the orthopedics implant manufacturers, and inventory is available in the operating room. The physician really has no idea whether what the total content is of all that information. A SurgiCAD system can bring that all to one place, to his desktop.
The software is developed at SurgiCAD's corporate office, located less than 5 miles from Dartmouth College and the Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center. SurgiCAD lets you enhance CT images to get better definition of bone characteristics. Use slide controls to move the anatomy for different views of sliced data. Identify the views using the Axis Guide. Zoom in on a section or size it to fit the window. Use segmentation tools to highlight specific anatomical areas to create a three-dimensional model. And measurement tools to calculate the dimensions of a bone at a particular location. The images can be output to a laser printer, recorded to a VHS tape, and included in the patient's electronic chart. SurgiCAD then takes these high-resolution images and integrates them with the CAD system.
Residents who are in training, medical students, and even the patients can see the anatomy in a format that's much more familiar to them than the slices. And so I think that's provided a big improvement in training. Also, when you are able to simulate surgery, then you get the same effect you get, for example, with flight simulators.
SurgiCAD includes tools to plan the proper angle for cutting a bone and ensuring the best fit for a prosthetic device.
The problem of precisely matching a wide array of implants to a wide array of patients' anatomies becomes an almost ideal setting for the application of this computer technology. The prospect of using this kind of technology to evaluate what is happening in any individual joint and what might happen to that joint when changes are made, either externally with bracing or internally with surgery, is a very exciting prospect.
You know, when you think about it, it really is a good idea to have doctors practicing on computer models before they try to do any implants on actual living people and possibly eliminate some of the problems that might otherwise surface. Speaking about problems that surface in the computer industry, we have all the latest news to help you avoid any problems with your technology. It's a free service, a fax-on-demand service, so remember, ultimately this information is going to end up in a fax machine somewhere. So just dial the first number on the screen, that's our fax-on-demand number, and follow the instructions and we'll get the information out to you. Coming up, we're going to be going and looking at a shareware package which lets your word processor send information to your fax software so that it can send out the right name and phone number and letter to your subscribers, right here on Computer Insider.
If you want to attract more business, you've got to work together. We all have our own special visions of where we want to be and how we want to work, wherever we are. At AST, we build computers to meet your worldview with award-winning products, service, and support. From notebooks to super servers, AST Computer. You'll like the way we work.
Today's marketplace demands more information delivered faster than ever before. D-Link helps make that happen. D-Link manufactures network interfaces. D-Link connects computer systems with bridges and routers. D-Link writes network management software. D-Link manufactures computer networking and internetworking products to bring this world closer together. D-Link Corporation.
When John Nagy joined CompuServe, he was new at computing and an old hand on the mountain. He joined to get more out of his computer and more out of life. On CompuServe, as on the mountain, there was always something to discover, like the solution to a software problem that wasn't in the manual, or being one of the first to know about that special vacation spot and how to save time and money getting there. The mountain was a source of satisfaction he would never outgrow. In a way, a lot like CompuServe. For more information, call 1-800-554-4088. Start with the basics, news, travel, and encyclopedia, and more for just $8.95 a month. Then go beyond for free software and help with hardware and software problems. You'll get more out of your computer and more out of life. CompuServe, the information service you won't outgrow.
When we look at the world of broadcast television, we're seeing a huge growth in the volume of animations and graphics that are being used. Today, I thought you'd like to meet some of the people who do that job on Computer Insider.
INSO was formed out of a need in the industry to be able to link up various vertical markets. Traditionally, there's always been specialists in each field, like in video, in digital prepress, in data archiving and network and connectivity, and then there's been the specialist in those areas from a proprietary standpoint of view, and then there's been specialists in the general purpose computer side of things. As the medias have started to merge, hence the term multimedia, there's really been no company that has a complete focus or can encompass sort of the complete spectrum of multimedia.
So this is an example of a complete interactive multimedia kiosk solution. We're showing off a piece of software here that I think demonstrates a clear vision of interactive multimedia. It was a prototype created for the Festival of Festivals, and what we show is how you can use several forms of media on the screen at the same time, being video, graphics, sound, animation, and text and photographs. For example, we have a film database here that you can search by film title, country, and director. I can click through movies that are of interest to me. So here is an example of using several forms of media on the screen at the same time. We have a video window, a text window, and a photo gallery, all of which are accessible at the same time. We can scroll through the photos. We can scroll through text to read. And at any point we can press the film trailer and watch the movie. All of these are accessible at the same time. So I can scroll through the text or the photographs while the movie is playing. And this is a very fine example of interactive multimedia. This is the type of solution that INSO can create for a client, all the way from concept to production, hardware, software, and kiosk manufacturing.
Some of the hot things that you're going to see and that you are already seeing is now we've created the momentum of generating things in the computer, whether it's just graphics flying around on the screen or when you see news openings or show openings. Now it's really gotten into the entertainment level where it's cheaper now to produce these things artificially, and they're so photorealistic that the viewing audience most of the time doesn't even know that they're looking at something that's been computer generated. A perfect example is True Lies, where you've got bridges blowing up and fighter planes flying around and Arnold being a pilot, and actually none of those, or most of those elements, never existed. They're created almost exclusively inside a workstation and using software products like Alias to develop those images. So more and more stuff that you see is going to be created artificially because it's cheap to create, and you can blow it up, you can re-blow it up, and then if that doesn't work, you can blow it up again.
The world of technology is changing everything we do, not only television and movies, but the way we do business and the way we interact with our friends and colleagues. Speaking about interaction, we have our fax on demand system all set for you. That's the first number you see on the screen. All you have to do is dial that number and follow the instructions, and it'll fax to you the latest computer industry news. And also don't forget, we like to hear from you, to hear what you're doing with your computer and give us some insights, maybe some secrets you've built up so that we'll be able to pass them on to our audience. Coming up, a look at tax software right here on Computer Insider.
Only Sharp presentation systems deliver the winning combination. Don't miss your next opportunity. Get the Sharp Edge. From a family of incredibly vivid computer projection panels to our convergence-free LCD projectors, you too can have multimedia presentation power like never before. Up to 16 million colors in computer, video, or combined. sharp presentation systems, and you, the winning combination.
Two days until the presentation. Plenty of time to pull it all together.
Hi, Marcy. Sorry, the deadline moved up 24 hours. See you in the morning.
Looks like a long night ahead. With her AST computer, she'll make it on time. AST Computers in support for a winning performance. From notebooks to super servers, AST Computer. You'll like the way we work.
When John Nagy joined CompuServe, he was new at computing and an old hand on the mountain. He joined to get more out of his computer and more out of life. On CompuServe, as on the mountain, there was always something to discover. Like the solution to a software problem that wasn't in the manual, or being one of the first to know about that special vacation spot and how to save time and money getting there. The mountain was a source of satisfaction he would never outgrow. In a way, a lot like CompuServe. For more information, call 1-800-554-4088. Start with the basics, news, travel, and encyclopedia, and more for just $8.95 a month. Then go beyond for free software and help with hardware and software problems. You'll get more out of your computer and more out of life. CompuServe, the information service you won't outgrow.
One of the problems that I've always faced in trying to get my computer to be more valuable for me is the ability to mass merge names and addresses, not to paper, but to my fax card so I can get lots and lots of faxes sent out. Recently I was getting through some of the bulletin board systems and I came across a program called MergeFax, and I wanted to show it to you because first of all it does that rather difficult job of merging documents and data and putting it to a fax card, but also because there's been a lot of discussion recently about how difficult it is to work in Windows and DOS, and I wanted you to see firsthand exactly how easy it is to do right here on Computer Insider. What we did with this specific package is we went onto a bulletin board system and we downloaded it onto our computer and put it into a DOS subdirectory. So what I want to do right off the top is to go into DOS, go to that subdirectory, and run the program called MergeFax. Now this is what they call a self-extracting file. In other words, as I run the command, it takes all of the files out and puts them into DOS. Now that we've got all of that done, let's go back, type exit, and we're back into our program manager. Our object here is to be able to take this program and have it interconnect our WinFax and our word processor. So what we're going to do, and this is the new level of installation that's happening in modern technology, it's none of this A:/, or edit, or whatever it is that some people think goes on in the computer. What happens with this program is that the load sequence is built into a Word document. So what we do is we open up our word processor, simply go into the directory, and we'll open the file called mergefac.doc, which is on the system right now. In fact, if we use our browse feature to move over, we'll go down into our MergeFax subdirectory, and when we click on it, over in here, it's going to list all the files that are available for us that are compatible with the word processor. So we're going to go on to the doc file up here. Please click on it. Thank you. And as it loads into the word processor, we're going to get a full explanation of what the package does. We're going to get instructions as to what to do with it. And because we're working in Windows, it has the capability of putting objects into the document that we can use and manipulate. But I want you to see that this is a Word document, a serious Word document, and in fact, when you look at some of these documents that are being built, you get some ideas as to how modern correspondence is being developed and the kinds of ways that fonts and other word processing features are being used. We're scrolling up and down. Those are the configurations for the equipment that you need to make it work. And as I said, everything you need is in the document. So we'll scroll back up here. Could you center that up on the page for me? There. That's a button. That right here. That's the button. What you want to do is you want to press on that button with your mouse. It then goes into the subdirectory in DOS and gets all the instructions that the programs need to be able to set itself up and operate. Here it's asking about who we are, so we can put in our name. And because this is shareware, you can get to use a little bit of the functionality, but if you contact the authors, they'll be able to give you an unlock code, and I think it's what, $25 or $35, that will get you full functionality. So we're going to leave this unregistered for the moment. It's clicked OK. Now it's going to go through and ask us other questions about how we've set up our fax communication software. A rule of thumb, Unless something extraordinary is happening, taking the defaults is the safest route. And with this particular package, you can go back and run the install program over and over and over again. At any rate, I can't envision how you could get a much simpler install than this type of a package. And I hope that when you're looking to use your Windows-based software, you understand how good it is. Anyway, let's go back over to the studio and talk about the technical side of this. You download the package, you take it, expand it into DOS, and then it handles all the difficult portions automatically. Speaking about difficult portions, we've handled them automatically through our Fax on Demand system. Give us a call. It's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to the first number you see on your screen. Confused about your taxes? Maybe want to have a computer-based solution? Cameron Peters from CanTax joins us next, right here on Computer Insider.
Only sharp presentation systems deliver the winning combination. Don't miss your next opportunity. Get the Sharp Edge. From a family of incredibly vivid computer projection panels to our convergence-free LCD projectors, you too can have multimedia presentation power like never before. Up to 16 million colors in computer, video, or combined. Sharp presentation systems and you, the winning combination.
Today's marketplace demands more information delivered faster than ever before. D-Link helps make that happen. D-Link manufactures network interfaces. D-Link connects computer systems with bridges and routers. D-Link writes network management software. D-Link manufactures computer networking and internetworking products to bring this world closer together. D-Link Corporation. Computer Insider is brought to you by Maxell. From floppy disks and data cartridges to leading-edge optical disks, Maxell computer products are 100% tested, certified, and guaranteed. At Maxell, high performance runs in the family.
When I first started looking at computers and tried to figure out what kind of jobs would work best on a computer, obvious things were getting rid of the typewriter and using a word processor, using a spreadsheet instead of a calculator. The other thing I thought a computer would do a good job at is doing my taxes, working out the calculations for Revenue Canada. Well, today I thought we'd meet with Cameron Peters, who's with CanTax, the largest Canadian developer of tax preparatory software. And Cameron, I was wondering, right off the top, can you tell us a little bit about CanTax?
CanTax is a company that builds software that makes it easy for you to prepare your own tax return using your personal computer.
How would you say that your product differentiates itself from other products in the marketplace?
Well, CanTax will help you prepare your return, point out possible deductions that you might be missing, and it guides you through the process. Where the government forms force you to do a lot of reading, with the CanTax program, you just start working on the software, and it takes you where you need to go to get the return done completely, thoroughly, and straight to the point.
Possibly, Cameron, you could tell us some of the advantages of using CanTax.
CanTax has a feature we call Jumpstart, which guides you through every aspect of your tax preparation. We have a feature called Diagnostics that works like an auditor and checks your tax return to make sure you're not missing anything obvious before you go through and submit it to the government.
There's been a lot of talk over the last couple of years of taxpayers being able to file electronically with Revenue Canada, and they get the information very quickly, and then hopefully you get your refund very quickly. Can you tell us how CanTax operates with electronic filing?
63% of all returns which are e-filed in Canada are done using the CanTax software. Unfortunately, the ability to e-file is not available to people who are preparing returns in their own home. That can only be done by a tax professional who needs to be approved by the government in order to e-file.
One of the problems people have in terms of doing tax preparation is that they want to bring information from previous years forward. How does CanTax work with bringing back or bringing forward older data?
Well, you'll have to enter some of your information again, but there's very little that you'll need to type in. Basically your name and address and a few amounts off of your tax return are all you'll need to enter into your computer.
If there was an area that I think people are concerned over, it's that the Tax Act is so complex that they just don't feel comfortable doing it yourself. Do you people support professional filers?
We have a special version of the software that is used by accountants and professionals. We have a product we call T1 Plus, and we also have a product we call T1 Plus with e-file that supports electronic filing. Possibly, Cameron, you could give us some feedback about the kinds of computers which your software works with? If you're preparing a return at home, all you need is a standard 8086 computer. You need a printer, obviously, if you're going to submit your return to Revenue Canada. and a hard drive with at least 3 megabytes of free space, and I'd recommend a mouse even for the DOS version. If you're using Windows, the minimum configuration would be a 386 with 4 megabytes of RAM. Once again, you need any Windows-compatible printer, and you're ready to go.
I mean, I know the government's very stable at what it does, but it is possible that the government could make changes to the Tax Act. What kind of protections do you have for consumers?
There's always the chance that the government might change something. We take extra care to make sure that we notify our users if any of these kinds of problems arise. We've got a newsletter, we've got a fax back service, and we try and do our best to make sure that our users can take advantage of these things so that they won't miss any possible changes that the government makes partway through the season.
You know, one would think with computers actually doing all the calculations that there'd be far fewer mistakes on tax returns. Have you had any feedback from the government about that?
Well, Revenue Canada hasn't published that information, although I do understand with my discussion with some of the people in the department that the accuracy level has increased, but they're not willing to quantify that.
There are certain advantages to using a computer to prepare your taxes. First of all, it gets you a better handle on how the whole system operates, and second of all, it eliminates the possible mistakes that you would make by doing it by hand or having a friend do it for you. Of course, don't forget accountants also have certain advantages in filing for you. Speaking about advantages, we have our news on our Fax on Demand system. All you have to do is dial into the first number on the screen and then download the news to you via your fax machine. Coming up, Pentium PowerPC. Is the chip really important on Computer Insider?
This top marketing executive prepares himself for the demands of today's business with his new Sharp electronic organizer. He has accelerated to the top through careful planning and organization, but he doesn't keep it all in his head. Instead, his competitive advantage is at hand. Always with him, ready with the information most needed, and sometimes with what's needed most. Sharp electronic organizers.
If you want to attract more business, you've got to work together. We all have our own special visions of where we want to be and how we want to work, wherever we are. At AST, we build computers to meet your worldview with award-winning products, service, and support. From notebooks to super servers, AST Computer. You'll like the way we work.
From the beginning of computer time, everybody always seems to want to fight over the processor. Should it be a Pentium? Should it be a PowerPC? Should it be an Alpha chip? 15 years ago, when I first started working with computers, the arguments were, should we be getting an Apple or a Commodore? And then in the early 80s, IBM came out with the PC, and then should it be an IBM PC or a compatible? I think it's time that we stopped and looked at this thing practically. First of all, the iron really doesn't matter a whole lot, the computer itself. What's really important are the applications that we're running with, and do they work properly, and do they get our jobs done? For as long as I can remember, techies have always argued about what processor you should be using. For your reference, the basic world is moving on Intel processors. About 74% of the market uses an Intel or an Intel-compatible chip in their computer. We start to hear about new chips coming into it from the PowerPC that have tremendous opportunities somewhere down the road to enhance our computer capabilities. But the PowerPC is still working out some issues with their operating system. Other guys like Alpha and whatnot are also coming out with chips that should be compatible with things like Windows NT and other operating environments as they become available. What's important to remember is there's a lot of hype and a lot of politics attached to these processors. It would be in Intel's interest to keep the Pentium on top of things. Apple, of course, would like to see the PowerPC dominate. But remember, when you go out and look at computers, it's what the computer does that really counts. I'm Bob Pritchard, Computer Insider.
Computer Insider has been brought to you by AST Computer. You'll like the way we work. Sharp Electronics. From sharp minds come sharp products.